Hello.
Tuesday, 5 p.m. It's the 6th of October. Welcome to another episode of the podcast from the Architectural Social. I'm your host, Jack Moran, joined by Stephen Drew and Will Ridgway. Boys, how are we doing today?
Hello.
I'm all right, Jack. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, it's been a horrible week for the weather in London, hasn't it? It's been awful. We're definitely going towards the winter is coming.
You think you've had it bad. My roof's been leaking. I've had the builders round all day. Absolute nightmare. Juggling that job as a lot of people right now in the UK. You got your kids, you got everything kicking on, and you still got to keep working. We still got to do it. So, hey,
the show never stops. That's why we're here, isn't it?
The show doesn't stop, and
Excellent. So it's going to be an interesting topic we've gone for today, Stephen. So, by our professions, we are all recruitment consultants, aren't we? And it looks like today you have decided to speak a little bit about the behind the scenes, which I think is going to be very interesting for, especially candidates, people we work with, to see what actually goes on behind the curtains. So why did you go for this one, Steve?
Oh, okay. So there's mixed feelings because there's this funny thing in terms of recruitment where I don't think behind the scenes talked about. And before, because I used to work in architecture and recruitment, you don't really know what fully happens in the process. So there's this kind of mystery behind it of what actually goes on, and everyone's perception's very different. So if there was such a disclaimer I could put on you, because I haven't got one now, but I would say that this is an informative, an informed opinion piece. So this is my opinion, having worked in recruitment, having worked in a few places, as well as working in architectural practice. And if I bang my background here, it's because I got a new green screen and it's a bit close to my chest. So if it seems like the world is moving, it's because I got a new background and I need to get it working. Okay, so recruitment. What happens in recruitment? What is recruitment? So in general sense, recruitment is what's needed in a company when they need to fulfill a role for a job. So to bring recruitment in terms of architecture, and now an architecture practice is what is called in recruitment. So recruitment jargon for an architectural practice is called a client. And the client is someone in the architectural practice which has a need. Okay. So general sense is, for instance, big architectural practice with Scrimshaw, Foster's, EPR, whoever, they win a project. Hooray! And they've got a few key members of staff, and they need someone else to join the team because suddenly you need a certain expertise. Maybe you want to bolster the team. Maybe the project's big and you need someone on board, or perhaps someone's left. Such is the way of life, such is the way of employment. So in recruitment is when you need someone to fulfill a need. So an architectural practice will begin a recruitment process, which is the act of finding someone when they have a particular need. Okay. And so there's a few ways in which a company will go about recruitment. They will either look for someone direct, which is when nice headphones will, they will, he's not clued up, isn't he? So I could say anything right now. Well, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can. My Bluetooth speakers went.
Oh no!
I couldn't hear anything what you said.
Oh, my background's going.
Information.
Don't worry. So I was just saying that in terms of recruitment, the recruitment process. Okay, so there's a few ways in which a company goes about finding someone. Okay, they can put a job online, they can put it on their website, and they can have an email. And so the term that is used in, again, recruitment jargon for that is direct recruitment. Okay, so it's like, I've got a practice, I need to find someone, you put a job out. Okay, and what happens with that is that you will get people apply for it, and the relevance to the role can be questionable and it can take time. So if you put an ad out in this current market, because there's a lot of people looking, a market is the jargon for people looking for jobs. The job market. How many people are on the market? The act of finding a job or hiring someone is called market. So on the Jargon Buster, we've talked about client, which is an architectural practice. We talked about the marketplace. So direct marketing, okay, is the best way for a company. There was probably the immediate way for a company to go about recruitment that is, in theory, efficient. In theory, it's direct. In theory, it should be the best way. Because you think, hey, I put an ad out, someone applies for my role. Okay. Now, what you'll find as a candidate, and candidate is the other jargon, which is you, the job seeker. So if you think of The Apprentice and you're all competing for Alan Sugar, and in terms of the job there, you are a candidate. And in this analogy, Alan Sugar is the client, and he kind of goes, should you be right for the role? Is this, are you the best candidate? So if Alan Sugar's looking, he will put out a job on the job market. Now, what happens is behind the scenes is that Alan Sugar is busy running his company. Norman Foster is busy at the top of Foster and Partners, and there'll be an assistant down below him, or not. And what happens is that when you put the application there, sometimes your application can get lost in direct, or what will happen is that they will get a lot of applications and they will be unfiltered. So your fantastic CV can get lost in that process. And actually interviewing people, interviewing you and a few other people who are right for the role, say, no, there's an architect role and you're an architect and you've applied for this role. Actually, when going through that process takes time out of their day, okay? Sifting through CVs to find if you are relevant or not is you could be amongst, especially in this current market, 100, 200 CVs. And so recruitment takes time. It takes a lot of time. It takes time in different situations, whereas now it's a recession, they get a lot of applications. And even during the time when things are less than a recession, which is a good time for job seekers to be looking, the act of finding a job can take a lot of time. So what is a recruitment consultant? And this is the big thing. So the recruitment consultant's goal, in terms of recruitment, and this is my opinion, boys, and we'll see what you guys think here as well, is that a good recruitment consultant should be able to identify an architectural practice's need on a project, learn about that company, and then seek the right person for the role. Go out and kind of matchmake, like that beautiful marriage, matchmake the right kind of person to that position. Now, that is the crux of what a recruitment consultant is, because we're kind of in the middle of everything. So the thing is, though, is that when you are in different times of the economy, the balance changes. So in 2014, 2015, which is in between now, so smack bang in the middle of now and the last global recession, there was a big surge to find people, good architects who use Revit. And a typical, oops, sorry, I'm banging everything around. Better be careful. So a typical person that I would go out and look for during that time was to find, it was like identifying really good talent, someone with really good potential, and you would naturally rally behind their cause and go like, Will Ridgway, I think you're absolutely amazing, and I can see you working at a few places. And so what a good recruitment consultant then would do is pair the companies they were thinking of with Will's ability, okay, and get them in front of companies, get their attention. Now, in this current climate, it's shifted, because what's happened is there are less jobs on the market and there's very niche requirements. So the role of a recruitment consultant right now is completely dramatically changed. And that's why I wanted to do this today, because I don't think recruitment consultants are upfront about the current market. Okay, so the job market, in terms of that analogy I used earlier of how many jobs are around there are less jobs. And so the briefs that I have right now, the briefs is basically what the client, what Alan Sugar or the architectural practice has asked me to find for a particular project. They will be very niche. So in 2014, you had architects, you had BIM coordinators, you had these specific niche skill sets, and it was about showcasing someone's genius in front of these amazing companies and grabbing their attention. Now it's the opposite. Now it's about I take instructions, I take jobs from companies and they're like, Steve, I need you, Will and Jack, to find someone who has worked 4 years on hotels, 4 years with Revit, and these construction stages. And if anyone doesn't fit that right now, as brutal as it sounds, there's a lot of demand for the role. So I have to spend all my time finding someone bang on that point. And the reason that is because it's what's called, in a jargon, a client market. So now is a client market, as in an architectural practice, naturally, because there is unfortunately less people with jobs right now, they have more choice. They have way more choice on who they can hire. Therefore, the balance, you imagine it like a balance. The balance is in the client's favor. Now, there's no malice to that. What I mean the balance in their favor is there's more choice. There's more demand for the role. And what that means is, right now, is that a recruitment consultant, in terms of recruitment, think of them as a good recruitment consultant would be upfront and honest about the rules they have, and they will be transparent, and they can say, I've got this hotel role right now, and truth be told, probably not the right fit for it, but I can see that you are talented. You need to keep on the search yourself. That is the truth. What you can't do right now is you can't afford to wait around one recruitment consultant, and the best thing to do is have upfront and transparent conversations. Say, what roles have you got on right now? What would be relevant? Here's my CV. Here's my portfolio. And you tell the recruitment consultant right now exactly what your skill set is. And you say, if you got anything like that, you let me know straight away. And then you spend your energy and you identify jobs direct, like we touched upon a little bit earlier. You keep an eye out for jobs posted. Or even better, like all the podcasts that we've done, all the webinars before, you keep in touch with companies direct. You have to go direct to companies. You have to go above and beyond and get in contact with the companies even before an ad's posted. And you make all your information to a recruitment consultant like me, so that when a job comes up and I get briefed by a company to find, because they've just won a project, they've just won a residential scheme, that I know you're there, ready, CV ready, portfolio ready, tip top, ready to go, pouncing on it. And that is how recruitment works right now. If you are waiting on the phone for a recruitment consultant to get back to you, you could be waiting for a long time. Okay, there's a chance you can't wait around for one job right now, because projects could start, projects could be cancelled. You have to be realistic with the circumstance. You have to understand that this is what is called, quote unquote, jargon again, a client's market. Literally, if that architectural practice gets a project in, then they will look for someone, and they will probably begin to look for direct, and then use recruitment consultants that they trust, that they have rapport with, and the recruitment consultants which are reputable, yeah. And so this goes to my other point. Sorry, boys, I know I'm going off on one here, but hopefully it's helpful. Shh, Bells, calm down. Okay, the other thing that is going on to is recruitment consultants, quality recruitment consultants, because we were having a nice chat before this, Jack, about the perceptions of recruitment consultants. And I think the best analogy for a recruitment consultant, that I'm trying to steer away from the analogy of a estate agent, because everyone goes, estate agent. And I think we got to joke and address the elephant in the room, that I think a lot of people have had experiences with recruitment consultants where they're like, that recruitment consultant told me a bunch of lies, sold me down the river, and wasn't truthful. And unfortunately, that can completely happen, because the reality is the recruitment process, which I talked about, is that we are in between the candidates and the clients, and sometimes mistakes happen. I've made lots of mistakes. They do happen, and you learn from it. And the other thing that can happen is you've got to realize that the process is quite messy, and as in, it's organizing people, it's organizing projects, and organically stuff can sometimes go out of our control. But then also the quality of a good recruitment consultant can show through. And the more and more I do this, the more and more I've done recruitment for longer periods of time, I think that being connected is the McDonald & Company slogan, which I quite like, actually. #be connected. I think there is something that is interesting and important about that, and it's true that there is something about connections, but connections come from, over time, a quality recruitment consultant being honest with a candidate, sometimes saying some things which are awkward and they don't want to hear. Like right now, I have to tell people, sorry, I'm a bit slow replying to certain mails because I get a lot of messages right now. So thank you for your patience. I probably don't have a role for you right now. As soon as I do, I will let you know. And that's the truth. And it's not saying that someone's not right for the role. So that, let me use a correction there. It's not saying that someone's not skilled enough or they're not talented. It's not just that I have to look for this requirement right now because that is what I'm hired to do, to find a few particular companies the right kind of person. Okay, so being upfront and transparent as a recruitment consultant is important. And I think that what I'd like for people to think about here is that when you've used a recruitment consultant or you're speaking to a recruitment consultant, you need to think about who they are. Have a little look at them. All right, have a little look at their background. If they worked in architecture, fine. That can be useful. More importantly, though, have a little look at the track record of the recruitment consultant. Have they got any LinkedIn recommendations? Have they been recommended to you word of mouth? That is the big, big thing. Because, yeah, it helps that I worked in architecture, but that is secondary to doing a good job. And so, and what you will find in terms of recruitment is that some recruitment consultants, it's exactly the same as in architecture. It's exactly the same as winning clients, okay? If you do a good job, you get repeat work, you get referrals. And sometimes we've all dropped the ball. And I think that what I've learned is that by being honest over time, you generally, and delivering or trying to find the right person for the right role, is that and having upfront conversations about what is the right company, then when I have helped someone join a company, they stay longer. Okay, so that is all from having upfront conversations about opportunities. And so if you're a job seeker right now, and look, if you're in the chat, guys, feel free to ask any questions while we're here. This is what it's all about. But when you're looking and you're thinking in recruitment, you've got to think of what's happening right now. I think my advice would be to everyone here to review and have a little look at the recruitment consultant. Think about it like selecting an architect. Think about who you want to represent you, who's going to show you in the best light. And then if you have a chat with them and there's not enough roles right now, take that on the chin as that's got nothing to do with your skill set and ability. That's because of circumstance. But make sure that you are ready for the opportunity. So you're going to get that CV and portfolio, and you're going to get it over to the recruitment consultant. And then while you're doing that, so you've thought about a few recruitment consultants, you've selected the few that you've got. Keep up to date with them once a week or something like that. And if you've got a job on right now or you've been put forward for something, keep in touch with that. But what I want you to do is also focus on applying to certain companies direct. Okay, and you can keep in contact with that recruitment consultant that you have genuine rapport with throughout your career. Sometimes I've spoken to someone 3 years ago and then I get them a job because situations change, positions change, and roles change. And so you can, over time, develop a rapport with recruitment consultants and with companies. So to summarize a little bit of what I've said in terms of the picture, I give my opinion on what recruitment as a big process is, this kind of messy thing that we all talk about. Oh, my background's going wild again. It's a bit like on a pirate ship, yeah, isn't it? I keep feeling like I'm on a ship. Look, here it goes again. So, oh, my sails.
Hey, you can make yourself look like you're on the ship if you've got a green screen.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. I need to turn off of that. Right, yeah, so that's what I think about recruitment. I think that that's the general summary of it. And in terms of what a recruitment consultant is, that is what I think their role is. And what I thought it was really important to do this right now is to acknowledge the current market so that everyone that's currently looking for a job can utilize a recruitment consultant the best way, but pursue recruitment direct as well as through a few people. You might find that you apply for a few companies direct, and then me and you speak about a role, and we put you forward, and I get you an interview. Great. Okay. What I don't want is people waiting on the phone for someone and getting frustrated. And you, especially, the truth is, if you are someone unfortunately newer to the industry, if you are at the start of your career, or if you just moved to London and you don't have UK experience, okay, the best person to help you is yourself. A recruitment consultant right now is like what I said, is probably looking for someone that's done 3 to 4 years of experience or on a particular project. There's a certain requirement. So if you are entering the job industry, or you have a lack of UK experience, or you have a lack of experience in industry, you can still get a job. Okay, so that you not saying you can't get a job. Everyone's done it. It's going to be tough, especially right now, but you can do it. And the chances are it's going to be sending more CVs, casting the net further afield, and then constantly keeping an eye on them applications and doing it direct. Boys, gentlemen, my fellow colleagues, my throat is getting sore, Jack. I need that drink over there. What do you think, though? I felt like I had to get a lot off my chest, and I hope that was a good intro. What do you think? Will, Jack,
catches his breath.
Yeah, Will, help me brief you.
All right, yeah. So you covered a lot. You covered a lot in that, but they're all very important points to bring up. I think particularly now, maybe you could get away with relying on a recruiter a year or two ago when there was not many, when there was lots of jobs available, and so that we can help you in that sense. But now, because there's the market is the amount of jobs available at the moment has shrunk significantly. We are only being tasked to find specific and niche skill sets.
Yeah.
And so when we say to someone, "Oh, we don't, you're not quite right for this role," it's not because you haven't got, you yourself are not a good architect. It's because It's because we're looking for a very specific skill set where they have 3 to 4 years experience. But that doesn't mean you can't find yourself a job, because there's plenty of jobs out there that with practices that aren't using agencies. They're looking for direct applications, and so it's up to you to find yourself a role, but have also a recruiter in the background, so that if anything comes through their end, they can also let you know. It's almost like setting up job alerts, really, on job boards. If anything matches a specific job request that you're looking for, then we can give you a call as soon as anything comes through. And that's the best way to use a recruiter. It's almost having it passively going on in the background. You keep in touch with them, let them know what you're looking for, importantly, and also your skill set. And then down the line, hopefully we can get in touch with you. But like I said, not rely upon us 100%.
I like that. Let me give a general picture of what it was like 2 years ago compared to now in terms of my job. Okay, maybe that will help. So let's do it. What's the intro? How do we go back in time, boys? Let's ring the bells of going back in time. Back before coronavirus. Go back to the good times, boys. If we shut our eyes, it's like the architecture market's booming. Oh, brilliant. Oh, I almost felt like I was there for a little while.
Oh, okay. Good times without the coronavirus.
In the good times. Yeah, okay. So, but we're going to be survivors, right? You appreciate the good times by surviving now. So, a year or two ago, typically I would have 10 to 15 requirements. Okay, requirement jobs from companies. And it would be companies that I build rapport with, and they would say over time, either they would give me a job description, or they would say, Steve, if you find anyone that you think is exceptional, that you think fits our profile because you've met us, you understand our company, we always want to know. Okay. And then I could get a particular role where they're like, I'm looking for a BIM superstar, or I'm looking for someone who's won amazing schemes. And so I would go around shortlisting people for those roles, and they would get jobs. Or and the other thing is that I could, a good example is that I would meet, for instance, a Part 2 architectural assistant. And Will, you know exactly what I'm thinking of. Amazing, because I always use it. You're gonna start rolling your eyes because I always say that Part 2, da da da. And I met a Part 2, and he was passionate about BIM. He wanted to be a BIM coordinator. I could see him. It's like, how do you get there? Because it's really tricky to do. And it was kind of like, on paper, this talented individual who was fantastic to me. I met him in person. He was really great, and he had something about him. And in his CV, I could read between the lines, feel like the Matrix code, and I was like, "There's something here." The chap was paid 28,000 at a company, and he was well valued. He was looked after. What the problem was, though, is that he was technically still a Part 2, and he wanted to be a BIM coordinator. And as good as the company was, and this is where I'm getting at, see, because a lot of the stuff that I come across in terms of my message, in terms of recruitment, it isn't about people working in awful companies. That's a very small part, and even then, that is normally subjective to what the person wants. What you find a lot of the time is someone's in a job, right, and they can't progress because the company's great, but there's no scope. So in this analogy, he wanted to be a BIM coordinator. We sat down, we went through the CV and portfolio, we restructured it to pop and appeal to a company, and they could appreciate his skill set. So in the role of a BIM coordinator here, he would fit. He went for 3 or 4 interviews and got a salary of £40,000, up from £28,000, and it was a perfect story of he was happy. Okay, had a massive pay rise, and do you know what? He was great. He still is great, and he's done so much since then. The new company has allowed him to effectively go and become a BIM manager. That is a really good example of transforming or good recruitment, as in being somewhere and wanting to do something else or wanting to progress, and sometimes you have to move sideways. And it was because I knew the industry, that we had this nice chat and we approached certain companies and we got the job. See, very tailored towards the person looking and getting the person the options based upon the experience on the right kind of company. Now it's a completely different world of, I can speak to someone and say, I have, so last week, okay, my jobs change daily or weekly right now. I get a new job, and then it's about finding someone efficiently, and then the job is closed. You fill the job. So I've recently filled a job where it was someone who has worked on a lot of large-scale residential, and there's another job on like hotels, right? It was finding someone with hotels, and it was efficiently going through it. And it's the same thing for residential. The hotel expert was not going for the other role at residential, okay? The shortlist for this position was people bang on the brief. And it was a case of going out, representing the company, saying what the role was, and identifying whether they meet it, and then putting someone forward. There's a few examples now of speaking to someone where I think they will fit really good at the company. And unlike before in 2014, where there might be, it would be me speaking to a director and trying to get them a position at the company because the director trusts me. They still do trust me a lot, which is why they'll answer the email. But there goes Steve. Sorry, you don't have that role right now. You focus on that residential role, yeah? You make sure you get that role. We don't want someone on Jeff's team. We want someone on Mark's team. Because right now we've got to be a tight ship, Steve. And the recruitment is very specific towards the needs of the company. So it's very different. Gone is the time right now where it's like Britain's Got Talent, and I'm on the bench going, "You're amazing. You're gonna be a star." Now it's you're gonna be a star. I can't help you. You gotta go direct. I've got to find the guy who can knock out, or lady who can knock out the drawings on this residential scheme. I need to find out the person that's done elderly retirements. I need to find the data center expert. I need to find the pop-up retail expert. I need to find the office consultant. Yeah, because that's what the role is. That's what the market requires. So you have to look yourself. You have to be your own. You have to be very strategic right now if you're looking for a job. Yeah, you can't afford to wait on recruitment consultants. You can't afford to wait on one source. You have to still speak to good recruitment consultants, of course, right? Because we can offer value. If you are the right, if you have the experience I need right now, I will get you in front of a company and I will get you a job. If you got that experience, as much as I like you, as much as I think you're great, we can go for a virtual beer and we can wear a gas mask any time of the day. I need to make sure that you fit that requirement. And if not, unfortunately, and if I'm slow answering an email, it's because I'm inundated with emails and I don't want to be rude. And I think it's really important to get back to everyone. And I will get back to everyone. I just got this massive backlog. Yeah. And that's because the truth is that's where the market is right now. So it's like homework. I want everyone here. It's like, come on, guys. Come on, Dan. I want everyone here as an exercise to think about who is a good recruitment consultant. What do you value? Honesty, reputation, understanding the industry, track record. Look at people. Pick who you want. Have a conversation about them, and have a real conversation. Have a go like, look, I understand it's a bit difficult right now. Have you got anything for me? No. Okay. Can you do me a favor? If you got anything, are you going to let me know? Yeah, great, cool. And the other thing to be aware of, do not let a recruitment consultant send your CV everywhere in London. Let's talk about that. Fun little point. This will get everyone going here. You will be amazed at sometimes the bad practices which happen in recruitment, and you have got to take control of the process. You can be misled by people which are not ethical. So think of like the morality, okay? There's going to be people that want to, unfortunately in life, get something done, get you in the door, that kind of attitude. It's a bit like an architect, or heaven forbid, someone who's not an architect doing a building and just whacking it up. That'll do. Yeah, that'll do. And then you go, hang on, my conservatory leaks. And it's like that with recruitment, is that an unethical recruiter can go, oh, yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, it's the best company. Oh, you're going to get this. You're going to get that. I promise. Oh, you can do the commute in 2 hours. And then you end up thinking, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go there. And it's not what the recruitment consultant said. It's nothing like it. And you'd be misled. Now, that is a slim chance of what can happen. And it does happen in life. It does happen. Like you can get you can get a bad job on architecture. You can get a bad job on fixing your car. You can get a bad job as a builder. Yeah, you can get a bad haircut. It's exactly like that. Unfortunately, this is what's called a service. So you really need to vet the right person for it. You really need to think about who you want to use and have honest conversations. So when you're speaking to a recruitment consultant, you need to make sure that you trust the person, and you also remind them not to send your CV out to any jobs without your permission. You should ask an email for the recruitment consultant to verify beforehand, before you send your CV, where that CV is going to. If your CV is popping around London, yeah, imagine like the three of us here, okay? You got me up in the corner, you got Will over there, and you got Jack. Let's pretend we're all in different companies. If you tell us all to send your CV wherever, okay, I might send your CV out and say one thing. Jack might send your CV out and say another thing. And then Will's going to say something terrible. Well, why would you do that?
why am I the terrible?
I'm teasing you, and you'll get a reaction. But I might say that you were looking for a job of 34,000. Jack says you're looking for a job at 36,000, and then Will's going to say you're looking at 35,000. The client gets all of your CVs. The architecture practice sees your CV from 1 company, 2, 3. Like, oh my gosh, does this person even know who Stephen Drew's Architects is? I'm feeling unloved right now. So when you get to speak to a recruitment consultant, find out who they're working with. Okay, send your CV and portfolio first so that they can understand what you're about. Read your CV and go, I think you would be good to work at this company and this company and this company. Can I please have your permission to put you forward? Because I know the director. I've worked with them before. I've got a track record. Ask these things. Who do they know? Is it going to the receptionist or not? Put it to the right person. And with a few companies where I know the directors, I have more rapport with them. Joe Bloggs, I think this guy would be amazing for your team. I see something in it. He's very Jack Moran-esque. Okay, Jack. And then you go, oh, yeah, all right. I'm more interested. Find out the track record. Find out the rapport they are. And if you find out that your CV's been sent without your permission, oh my dear Lord, I won't swear.
And we, if I can just interject, we are evidence that has happened probably to the three of us.
It happens all the time.
What is the word? What do the clients always say? They always come back with, we've already had this CV and portfolio from X amount of agencies, and it honestly just devalues the person so much, doesn't it? I think it makes them look a bit desperate, if anything.
Well, and it's confusion, and that confusion can stop you getting an interview. Yeah. So you constantly need to be in control when you speak to a recruitment consultant and where your CV's been sent to, and go through that. Do not ever send your CV around London, as you'll be known as Jack says, you'll be devalued, and you will be that guy, that CV.
Yeah,
it's his CV again, isn't it, Will?
Yeah, it's I think when the whoever the CV's been sent to, whether it's the director or someone in HR, and they get the same CV for the third time that day, whilst they might not necessarily blame you for it, they'll probably blame the recruiters for it. What can happen though is that it subconsciously makes them have a negative for every time they see your CV, and that can impact on you getting to the next stage, to an interview, because they've immediately seen your CV for the third time, and it's just frustration for them. It has nothing to do with you. It's the fact that they've just seen it constantly. And so that's why it's important to keep hold of, know where your CV is being sent. Find out, only get your CV to be sent once you've got the permission. It's like you wouldn't, if you want to have a conservatory built, first of all, you would look to find the best builder for the job. You wouldn't just pick the first one. You want to find the track history, find any reviews, whether that be in recruitment, it would be on LinkedIn, maybe Google reviews. Find out who it is first, and then also make sure that they stick to what you have said. The last thing you want is for another 2 conservatories to be built. You only want one. Why would you let them go off and build another one without your permission? So make sure that they stick to where they're going to send you and where you've said yes to, so that if you do work with more than one recruitment agency, or if you're doing direct applications, it means that your applications don't duplicate up, so that it avoids any confusion, any embarrassment. That's what I would say.
I love it. And I want everyone to think about, right, that I remember the one time I put someone forward for a role. I got the candidate's permission. I got along very well with the director. And while I was organizing the interview, the director sent me an email from a recruitment consultant of who I shall not name, that had sent the CV of the candidate who I was booking for an interview to the company. So he was like, Steve, what's this? And I'm like, I have no idea. And what was awful about it is that this other recruitment consultant said a lower salary. So it confused it. So I had to basically stick up for the candidate, stick up for his worth, and then spoke to the candidate. The candidate, so the architect, who's been put forward. I had no idea that there's ever a recruitment consultant done it. And then I encouraged the candidate, the architect, to go, you need to speak to this guy and say, where have you sent this CV to? Because if it's gone to one guy, chances are it's gone to loads of places. And what was funny was that recruitment consultant acted all like, oh, I don't know what's going on. No, it must have been a mistake. And this is the point. It's like everything else. You can catch out people doing this stuff. And the good news is, in the current world we are, the word of mouth spreads fast, online spreads fast. So by and large, that you have a lot of good recruitment consultants. I've known a lot of people in architecture. There's quite a few companies that I respect. I mean, I joined McDonald & Company because of the long-standing reputation they have, and in terms of architecture, while leading the team, there was certain qualities I could instill in how I want to go about a team. Yeah, there's a few recruitment consultants that I quote unquote compete with, such as Whitespace. I really value the recruitment that they do. And I think it's good that there's other people that are good like that, because Whitespace is good practice. I like that they do a good job, and it keeps me in check as well. And it's like that friendly thing of, it's like two architectural practices trying to bid for the work together who are good. It's like going up on someone you respect. Now, where I get frustrated is with companies which I think do not have the candidate's value at heart, do not have you, the architect's value at heart. They don't give a, because I can't swear because this is going to go on. They don't give a where you go. They don't give a what price you get. They shove you in the door and shoot off. That ain't good. But luckily, it's the minority. And what you can do in this process, you, the person, you decide who wants to represent you. You decide who you want to speak to. You decide the companies you want to go to. So you have the power to take control of that process. You're going to be respectful. You're going to speak with companies. You're going to speak with architectural recruitment consultants that you want to work with. And yes, they're going to bring a value, and you're going to treat them with respect. You're going to treat them like you're a team. You're going to look up to people who can offer you value, but then you're also going to view them equally. Okay? So if someone is misleading you, or you feel that they're doing something wrong, call them out on it. Where have you sent my CV? If that recruitment consultant can't substantiate where you've been sent, and they can't document where that's been in the conversation, then that is someone I would not want to work with. If a recruitment consultant calls you out of the blue and goes, Jack, do you know what it is? Oh, I met a company this morning, and it's just, I didn't mention your name, but they want to meet you. Do you want to go for an interview? If anything feels suspect like that, what's happened is there's a chance your CV's gone without your permission. Yeah? Because someone's feeling worried, or maybe they're desperate in the current climate and doing things which are without your permission. And that is illegal. Someone should not be sending your CV without your permission. Under GDPR, you have the right to ask that. Get mad, get angry that people have been doing this for a while. Shouldn't be doing it. But the good news is, a good recruitment consultant, it's like anything else, a good architect, like you guys in the future, like what you do, they are worth their weight in gold. And this, like when I'm hiring for my team, or we all can make mistakes. Things happen. Things don't always go our way. Sometimes mistakes have happened. I've once, made one or two mistakes in recruitment, and believe it or not, guys, I'm not perfect. Yeah, we're all human, but it's about going around that. And what I'm on about is mistakes can happen. Sometimes that, unfortunately, you can't get the news that you want in terms of the job, and you feel like, oh no. things sometimes go wrong in the process. Sometimes roles get changed. Sometimes we don't always get the feedback we'd love to give you. Sometimes things don't go your way and the job goes to someone else. But what I'm talking about is every recruitment consultant, if they were in goals, should be honest. Okay? It doesn't mean that and what I'm on about there is not that the process goes perfect, because we are always just trying to we're trying to help you out the best we can. What I'm on about is honesty, because I can always be honest with you. Sometimes people don't want to hear honesty, and that sometimes gets me into I wouldn't say trouble, but there's a way of going. Sometimes you have to be kind. I have to tell you things which are not ideal, and that's what this is now. Okay, if I wanted to say, I am the best recruitment consultant and I can guarantee you a job, speak to me. Oh, my chicken wings are going there. Then great. I'll get a few more CVs come into my inbox. But where that's not honest is because I might not be able to reply to everyone right now, or I might not have the right role for them. And so the best thing I can do is to speak openly, offer my opinion piece on how to go about the process. And then hopefully when things change, or if I've got a role which is relevant to your experience, we can do that now. But I'd love to work with you in the future. And I'd love to have you have this open and honest conversation right now. And we should be talking openly about recruitment. And that's what this one's about. So this one is more about you as a job seeker finding a job, weathering the storms right now, and then in the good times, remembering, hey, you can definitely look around. Don't be playing too many games. No one, you got to get a balance, right? So we can go through that. Next week, what I want to talk about is it from a client's perspective, the best to use the recruitment consultant, the value of a good recruitment consultant in this time, looking for something specific, as well as searching for the right talent, and also how the recruitment process can be difficult, and maybe a few things how to make it easier. So this is for the job seeker. So sorry guys, this has been a little bit heavy on me talking. I'm sorry. But I hope, Jack, was it valuable?
I think you've covered the fundamentals of the importance of a recruitment consultant and the difference between a good and a bad one. But I did like your point about the CV going, left, right, and centre around London. The thing is, because people might be so unaware of it, and like you said, what a bad consultant may do in just saying, I spoke to this practice this morning. Somehow they want to see you, even though you don't know that I sent your CV.
Awful.
That's a common thing. And I definitely think that plays a part in, we were speaking before, Stephen, about how there's certain, negative connotations to a recruitment consultant, the way we're sort of viewed in the market. But like you said, a good recruitment consultant will have that thick skin, and he won't be a yes man. So he's not going to speak to a candidate and just be like, "Oh, you're amazing, you're this, you're that." It's all sunshine and flowers. That like you said.
Yeah, and then nothing happens. Exactly.
Yeah. If you say to someone, look, there's nothing on at the moment, you may be an exceptional architect. However, within the sectors you've worked in, there's not much happening. Having said that, why don't we keep in touch? If anything comes through, I'll let you know. That's why I think, in recruitment, like especially me and Will being a sort of, lower level than Stephen, what we tend to find is that at the moment, as well as sourcing jobs and trying to bring in our own roles, we are building connections. And this is quite a strong part of being part of McDonald and Company. Really do value connections, and it goes back to saying of it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I definitely think that's why a large part of recruitment consultants' job, especially at the first few years, is trying to establish those contacts. The work you're doing now, a few years down the line, they might say, Jack, Will, we spoke to you ages ago, with nothing on at the time. Could you now help me find a role, or I have a role that needs people for it. I definitely think you've covered some good fundamental ground, Stephen. And
good. And that's why, that's what I really respect about us as a team, or more specifically, you two as well. And what I value is, you don't come from an architectural background. It doesn't mean, I think that compared to a lot of, it doesn't matter if you've got a background in architecture. What it's all about is understanding architecture, caring about architecture, being around architects, and being honest. That's number one. And my background in architecture covers us all, actually, how many architectural practices have we been to? It's going to the companies, learning the companies, and meeting people. Okay, yeah, we can't meet candidates right now because Zoom. And I'm guilty sometimes of, I meet a bit less people than I have done in the past. But what I do now is, it's interesting, because when I start in recruitment, I do think it's good to go through someone's portfolio. But what I like to do right now is I can go through the portfolio, but I like to cut to the crux of what someone's looking for in a nice way. I'm like, what's really happening? Where are you at in life? What are you looking for? Because the technical details, and that is important, and we can come to it. But the more I know what you're looking for and where you're at in life, and the more we can have that honest conversation, the better. Steve, I've worked long hours and I value what I've done at Joe Blogg's practice. I've got a kid on the way. My priorities have changed. I want to balance, or the other way. You're like, I want to give it my all. I want to work for an amazing company, which is always in the zine. Great, we can do all that. We can have open conversations. If you give me an open conversation, I can help more. And that's why me being open about the current situation right now and my thoughts about recruitment, hopefully I can help you. I can't reply to all the messages right now. I feel awful that I've still got loads to go through today. I sent messages out on LinkedIn last week I got to get back to. I almost want people to kind of look at this video and have an open conversation. It's there's a little part of me, and that's where we joked earlier, there's something nervous about talking about the behind the scenes or behind anything, but there shouldn't be. And it's scary for me almost to come up here live every week, and us as well. We've been doing podcasts which have been live in a small audience. Now we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're on this stuff, and we're talking about things from the heart. And so I'm shooting from the hip. I don't have a script. This is all freestyle, okay, based upon raw emotions and meaning and coming from experience. And if you're honest to a recruitment consultant, and I'm going to try, I'll always try and be honest back. Let me rephrase. I will always be honest. I will. Sometimes, though, it's not what you want to hear, and I've got to say it honestly in a nice way.
And that's how you want people to respect, though, isn't it, Stephen?
Yeah, and that's why that's why, like, right now, is that no one should panic. It's a difficult time, and that's why I'm saying you can use a recruitment consultant. The best person to help you right now is you. The best person to decide who to work with is you, and I'd love to work with you. But it's that thing of I help people that are open with me, and I'll be open with them, and it could be now or in a few years. And sometimes I can get the hole in one, and you will think I am the miracle man. And I've had a few of them when they're like, "Oh my gosh, Steve Drew, done this and that," because everything went the perfect way, and it could have been hard behind the scenes. There's other times where I've not been able to help people. There's been a few people who I think are exceptional and not managed to get them a job. And that is due to circumstance. I will always try. But what I do always try to do, and this is the same for any professional, is have that honest thing, have that chat and help. So, you can see, look at that. Okay. So I think we should end.
More green screen. If anyone else is wondering why he's so into it, he's look at this side. The production value is stepping up.
Yeah. we're getting there. We're getting there. I've just got to learn to zoom the camera in, and then next week we're going to do a soundboard. So a little bit of a serious tone, but with an uplift. The point is, we are getting there. We are being honest, and you can find a job. You can do it. You can do it, and it could be through me, and it could be through you, but you got to keep doing it. So I think if you're happy with it, because I think Jack echoed it, you had a really nice thoughts earlier. What I would like to say to anyone out there, so we can all be found at McDonald & Company, great recruitment company, been around since 1994, RICS, basically the official partner of the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. I lead the architecture team. And the other thing that we have, let me bring the banner down. If you're not joined there, join the Architectural Social.
Is that the most engaged architecture community in the world? I think it is.
Wow. We're all striving for it. We're all going there. Definitely growing. The Architectural Social was born when we were all on furlough. I thought it would be a great community to talk about honest subjects like this. And, you know, of course, I post jobs that I work on there, but it's a really engaged community. We've done loads of these webinars, and we talk about how to help yourself from the get-go, how to take control of the recruitment process. And I really want everyone on there to look at these videos and kind of soak in them, enjoy them. But they're there to be used, okay? It's just because me and Will were having a giggle about this earlier. It's like everything else. I got like so many business and self-help books on Audible, and when I listen to them, they're great. You need to implement them in real life. So I want everyone here to think about exactly what I said and start applying it to what you do. Go and listen to one of the podcasts that we've done and the webinars. Have a look. We've got industry experts on there on the architecturalsocial.com. We've got a free podcast and free community to join. Get involved, get the conversation going, be active. The people in life that do well, I say it every week, Jack, and I believe it more and more, are the people that give. We have everything from a book club to take your mind off the current situation, the current, if you're getting stressed out, you're like, I can't be dealing with Boris Johnson on the news again. Go join a book club. Join a book club. Have a nice time. And then we also talk about nitty gritty stuff like recruitment, and I offer my perspective on there. But there's more than just recruitment on there. It's about anything you want to share, anything you want to showcase your work, anything. I offer and talk about recruitment because that is my job. The stage is yours. It's what you want to make of it. So definitely check it out. Definitely register. We're also on YouTube. We're on Spotify. I'm all down with the crew. We're all there. So I think that's me. Will, are you happy with that?
I'm happy with that. I think you've covered no pearls of wisdom from me. I think you've done all the wisdom today.
Okay, I've got a question. Who's in them pictures in the corner?
It's me and my brother.
Not me. It's not me.
Me and my brother. My mum's over there, but you can't really see that one. No, and then that's me. But it's when I had hair. So, you know, it was a green while.
Can you get a picture of me, Steve, and just put it?
Yeah.
It's large right now. It's like
on this green screen.
Yeah, it's like before and after. You're all chiseled Hulk Hogan, and I'm like the Subway man before you went on the Subway diet. Okay, Jack.
It's time for wrap up.
I loved your wrap up. One quick thing before you do the official wrap up. Can I see your kittens? Are they there? Let's see the kitten.
Yes, of course. You can only see one because they're both.
Yes, kitten. Woo!
The kittens are making the debut.
You need a kitten in life right now.
Maybe, do you know what, on the Architecture Social, maybe I should just have a Jack's Kittens page.
I think
so. You know, if anyone's like a bit sad about the whole, you know, the Corona world, they can just sort of, hello, there you are.
There you go. We had to bring that up. I think, Will, that is the one guess. That is amazing. I think I love that. We need a kitten. And so,
don't we? Because you know, at work, when people get bored, they just start looking at pictures of dogs and kittens anyway. If anyone's like looking for a job and they're getting sad, they could just say, oh, kittens.
I'll look at the kitten. And if you're listening to the podcast, you got to check out the YouTube and have a little look at Jack's kitten. And while you're there, subscribe. Oh, I'm going to sound like one of them YouTubers now. Like and subscribe. Actually, only like and subscribe if you want to. Don't worry. It's about if you want to be part of it. Cool. So I best go. ASMR. I'm going to go now.
From everyone at the team of the Architectural Social, thank you very much for joining us. I've been Jack Moran, your host. Steve and Drew, Will Ridgway, thank you very much for your time, boys. Guys, you can find us on all our socials, on LinkedIn. You can listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify. Find us at thearchitecturalsocial.com. And for any of you who are in the market looking for anything at the moment, please feel free to visit the mcdonaldandcompany.com website, where you can reach all of our contact details. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Oh, yeah, great. Oh, I'm banging everything. Bye. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye,
end of the stream. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.